From the food we eat, the air we breathe, the land we dwell, to the health of our body and mind and the well-being of all things in the universe. Unlock the Science with Chula Radio Plus.
They are very, very tiny substances. They are so small that they can barely be seen with naked eyes in the environment. They are all around us, in the food we eat, the water we drink, and the air we breathe. But because of the intensiveness of their contamination in the environment, they can do harms to both our health and our world. They are microplastics. I'm Lawan Jirasuraded, and this is Unlock the Science. Microplastics are residues of massive amount of plastic trash that we throw away every day. They eventually break down into trillions of microscopic pieces and scatter all over the earth, from up in the atmosphere to the deepest depth of the ocean. They even find their way into our body. This is one of the most critical environmental issues of our time. According to the United States National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and the European Chemicals Agency, microplastics are defined as fragments of any types of plastic that are less than 5 millimeters in length, or about the size of a sesame seed. Microplastics do not just come from the breaking down into small pieces of plastic materials, such as plastic bags or plastic containers, but they are also generated from plastic microbeads contained in many kinds of skincare or healthcare products. Despite of its extremely small size, the current volume of microplastic in the environment, especially in the ocean, is worrisome, as they can endanger the ecosystems and contaminate our food chain. A study on global inventory of marine microplastics, published on Environmental Research Letters, an open access journal published online, estimated that the accumulated amount of microplastic particles that were floating around in the ocean in 2014 ranged from 15 to 51 trillion particles, weighing up to 236,000 tons. It has been reported in many studies that microplastic in the oceans are being consumed by some 700 aquatic species. According to a report by National Geographic, many animals such as anchovies and seabirds mistakenly eat plastic as food. And when they are preyed upon by predators, those microplastics are passed down into the food chain. In many cases, they end up in our dishes. Ingesting microplastics can be very harmful to animals as well as humans due to physical and chemical toxicity of microplastics. A team of researchers at University of Catania in Italy also reported that microplastic fragments were also found in some fruit and vegetables. Another joint study by Incheon National University in South Korea and Greenpeace discovered that 90% of salt in South Korea markets contain up to 17.2 grams of microplastic per 1 kilogram of salt. Therefore, Greenpeace estimates that a person is likely to consume around 20,000 pieces of microplastic annually just from ingesting only 10 grams of salt per day. A study on health impacts of microplastics, published in the September 2018 issue of Current Environmental Health Reports, another open access online journal, said that microplastics contain not only chemicals from their manufacturing process, but also absorb other toxins from their surrounding environment. Our air is also found to be contaminated with microplastic particles. Plastic particles could remain in the air for almost 7 days, allowing them to be diffused over a long distance with the wind. Although the impacts of microplastic to human health is not yet fully understood, it is highly possible that they can cause a range of health problems, such as inflammatory responses in tissues, cancer, and infertility. Unlock the Science reporter Sujitra Vassanadumrongdee talked to Associate Professor Dr. Suchana Chavanich, a marine biologist at Faculty of Science, Chulalongkorn University, to help us understand more about the threats from microplastic to our environment and our health.
What are the impacts of microplastic to marine ecosystem?
Well, actually, right now, scientists have found that microplastic can be found not only in the water, but also in the sediment in the sea. And also some marine animals have been eating this accidentally. So we can see now marine ecosystems have been contaminated by this microplastic. In terms of the impact, there are some studies showing that some animals, for example, small shrimp, crab, fish, this microplastic can have effect to their growth rate, how they will mold. And also microplastic can have effects to their reproduction. For example, their eggs would be smaller or bigger. For the fish, there's some studies showing that microplastic can cause the tumor in the gut of the fish. This is the example.
And do you think are there any species that are more vulnerable to microplastic than the others?
Well, when we're talking about the plastic pollution, it can be either microplastic, which is smaller than 5 millimeter, right? And also the macroplastic. They're all what we call, plastic pollution. For the microplastic, unfortunately, because they are too small to see, so usually they can be eaten by any marine animal when those animals open their mouth. So definitely the microplastic can get in their bodies. But for the large plastic, some animals are more vulnerable. For example, sea turtle, they love to eat jellyfish. So when they see the plastic bag floating in the water in the ocean, they thought it was jellyfish and they eat it. And that caused some problem later. So actually the researchers suggest that more than 52% of the world's turtles have been eaten plastic waste. And more than 1 million of marine animals, including the turtle, the fish, the shark, the bird, or whales, they are killed each year because of the plastic in the ocean.
So we can say that marine plastic pollution is killing some species off. Is that correct?
Yeah, because actually, when you found, those marine animal strand on the beach, and a lot of time when scientists open their stomach, they will find some sort of the plastic, either the big plastic bag or the small one or other material that made of the plastic.
That is the effect of the big one, the big plastic that blocked into their system. Is it correct? And what about the effect of microplastic that we have seen on our food?
Actually, in our laboratory, the Department of Marine Science, Faculty of Science, we found microplastic in many marine animals that we consider is a food, seafood. For example, fish, shrimps, oyster, mussels, and actually, the rate of the contamination, you would not believe, is more than 90% of the animal that we select and look at the microplastic. And it's not just only the seafood that we eat. One of the faculty at the Environmental Institute at Chulalongkorn University, he found that microplastic also contaminate in a salt, the salt that we usually put in the food that we cook. So and the latest one, our group also found the microplastic in the water that we drink. So you can see that the microplastic is everywhere. It's not just only the food that we eat, but also the water that we drink too.
Is it correct that in the water there are also microplastic floating in it too?
Yeah. We found it. Actually, we did some investigation on that.
And is there any health issue that we should concern if we consume microplastic?
Actually, it's a very good question. Unfortunately, we do not have a concrete answers about the effect of this microplastic in a human, but we know that each person has at least, okay, this is approximate, at least 10,000 microplastic in our stomach. So one person could have about at least 10,000 microplastic in stomach. So some can have more, some can have less than 10,000. It really depends on, their behavior on eating the food. But because of the human have a very complex bodies, and therefore, if we're gonna look at the impact of the microplastic on us, on human health, it will take some time, at least 5 or 10 years or more, to study and see the effects. Like smoking, if we start smoking now, you would not see the effects from the smoking, right? It will take some time before the impact occur, like have a cancer in the lung. So it's similar. But from the experiment with the animal, scientists predict that these microplastic may have some influence on the human immune response. Like can see more allergy happening in humans. And microplastic could cause scar in the stomach, because in our stomach, you can see the microplastic, right? And it can be, in your tissue. So it can cause the scar, cause the cellular damage, and can cause the inflammatory and could develop a cancer later. But this have to, monitoring it. And if the microplastic break into the smaller site, the site like a bacteria or virus sites, it could get into the blood vessel and could cause the blood clot. And that's what a scientist predict based on it happened in the animal that we test. When they test with the, a crustacean group like a shrimp, crab or fish, they cause some, the microplastic can have some effects on shrimp and crab, like reproduction things, and fish, can cause the scar in the stomach and later develop to the tumor. So that's why they apply that. It could cause similar things like a human, but it will take some time because we have a complex bodies. So it will take a little bit slower.
I see. And how much should we concern about plastic pollution and how to protect ourselves from it?
I think we should be aware of it, that, is real and is happening and we now eating it. But I would not recommend that we should be afraid too much. Now, microplastic can be found in the water that we drink. It can be found in the air that we are breathing now. Okay, and it also can be found definitely on the food that we eat. So I do not think that we can avoid it. But this is good to be aware and try to choose not to eat or drink the things that have high contamination of the microplastic. That's what I suggest.
We will take a short break now.
You are listening to Unlock the Science on Chula Radio Plus.
Microplastic come from a variety of sources. Apparently, plastic debris from land that degrades into smaller and smaller pieces in the environment is the primary origin of microplastic that are contaminate oceans, lakes, and rivers. A report published in Science magazine in 2015 calculated that around 4.8 to 12.7 million tons of our discarded plastic waste enter the oceans from land annually. Though microplastics are widely dispersed in the world's oceans, there are some hotspots that are the major polluters. Thailand is among the top 10 of the countries that dump the largest amount of plastic into the oceans due to its high plastic consumption and poor waste management. According to Thailand's Pollution Control Department, most of the country's collected solid waste is dumped in landfills or incinerated, and poor waste management in landfills causes waste leakage into waterways, eventually leading into the oceans. In addition, the United States National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has highlighted that the polyethylene plastic microbeads, which are commonly added as exfoliant in health and beauty products, such as cleansers and toothpaste, are another major source of microplastic in the oceans. Plastic microbeads, such as those contained in facial or body scrub, are of tiny size. Therefore, they can easily pass through water filtering systems and then end up in natural waterways. Unlock the Science reporter Prof. Sujitra Vassanadumrongdee talked to Dr. Sujitra Vassanadumrongdee, senior researcher at Environmental Research Institute, Chulalongkorn University, who leads the key waste management project of the university known as Chula Zero Waste, on how Thailand could handle its severe plastic waste problem.
Thailand is one of the largest contributors of plastic pollution to the sea. Why is that? What is the Thailand problem with waste management?
Thailand is among the top producers and exporters of plastics. So we are land of plastic. There, the report said that the average of per capita plastic waste generation in Thailand is about 74 kilograms per capita per year. So it's compared to the world average, it's just 29 kilograms per capita per year. So I triple of the world average use. We have plastic waste in municipal solid waste about 2 million tons, and we could get for recycle just 17% up to 25%. Maximum is about 25%. So just 1/4 of plastic waste had been recycled. The rest go to dump sites and leakage to the environment, including the ocean. So that's the problem.
And how do you think the authority should improve our plastic waste management and solve marine plastic pollution?
There are many policy instruments that we should adopt. Besides that, we talk about the ban, right?
Yeah.
Actually, better than banning the single plastic, we should change people behavior by charging or putting the price on the single plastics. For example, if we want to get the plastic bag from the coffee shop, we need to pay. So if there is some kind of economic instrument that have been used in many countries, consumer will change their behavior. Everyone don't want to pay, right? For the bags or the cups. So automatically they will, eventually they will adjust their behavior and will bring their own cups or their own bag to the shops instead because they want to pay. You cannot ban the products if you don't have a substitute. We need more responsibility from producers to change their packaging design, make all packagings and all products to be reusable or recyclable. So in that case, it will help a lot for us to segregate waste and can send the waste for recycling instead of energy recovery. For the role of the producer, other countries, they implement the principle of extended producer responsibility or EPR. So we can adopt that principle as well, starting for voluntary EPR scheme led by producers, especially for brand owners to take the lead. And later on, we can draft and develop a mandatory EPR scheme that have to be have the legal backup for it. So eventually, we need a new laws to promote circular economy as a way to improve our waste system as well.
And on the personal level, what should we do to help solve plastic pollution, especially during COVID-19 pandemic that we use a lot of plastic bag and single plastic?
So We always follow the 3R's principle: reduce, reuse, recycle, right? It's like Thai people know how or have heard about 3R principles. They learn, but they never practice. So I really encourage everyone to do the action.
And I heard that you are in charge of the project Chula Zero Waste. Could you please share your experience on this project and what is the challenge that you have faced during this project?
Chula Zero Waste program is a big project. It's a 5-year action plan that we aim to reduce the residual waste that's sent for disposal as much as possible. So we use the concept of zero waste approach. And within the Chula Zero Waste program, we also have the projects to reduce single plastics. We do so many things. For example, plastic bag charging that I mentioned earlier. So we are among the first institutions that adopt 2 baht charging for plastic bags. So we ask the convenience stores, the shops, to stop giving consumer free plastic bags. Instead, if customers want to get a bag, they need to pay 2 baht. And the money will go for donation, for doing good. So by adopting the plastic bag charging, we estimate that the number of plastic bags have been reduced sharply, almost 90% compared to the baseline.
Associate Professor Dr. Suchana, the marine biologist, told Unlock the Science that studies show microplastic could affect the growth and reproduction of marine animals and could cause tumor in fish gut. She added that about 1 million of marine animals are killed each year by plastics. Dr. Suchana said, it is estimated that each of us, the human being, has 10,000 particles of microplastic in our stomach. This could affect our immune system. But more study are needed before making any conclusion. Dr. Sujitra, who leads a waste management scheme at Chulalongkorn University, said people in Thailand probably consume more plastic than we should. She said Thai people generate 74 kilograms per capita per year of plastic waste, compared to the world's average of 29 kilograms. In other words, Thai people generate 2.5 times higher of plastic waste than the world's average. Regardless of where it is found, plastic is synthetic material that is manufactured by us, the human being. Plastic is indispensable in our modern way of life, but we have probably been excessively using them, most of the time only once, before throwing them away easily. Therefore, it is upon us to solve this problem with recycling, better waste management, and most importantly, use plastic more wisely. Unlock the Science would like to thank Associate Professor Dr. Suchana Chavanich from Faculty of Science and Dr. Sujitra Vassanadumrongdee from Environmental Research Institute. Both are from Chulalongkorn University. I hope you enjoy our program. You can listen to Unlock the Science on Chula Radio Plus at FM 101.5 every Saturday from 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. You can also listen and follow us on our website, curadio.chula.ac.th and our Facebook page. And our program is also available as podcasts. See you again next Saturday. Have a nice day.
Unlock the Science is edited and produced by Sinfa Tunsarawut with Lawan Jirasuradet as the program host and co-producer.